Hi Sugar Plums, I'm back from Oz and I wanted to just check in and say hello and give a little bit of an update and have a bit of a chat about what I've been up to over the past 7 weeks and share some news with you just in case you've missed it. Talk about some things that have been in the pipeline for a while. Talk about Thor, because that was pretty cool, and another incarnation of seeing old pagan deity on the screen. So I wanted to have a chat about that. And then finally talking a little bit about 2 decks that I found, one on eBay and one in a shop in Australia, that have been on my list to get for ever and ever, and I'm super jazzed. So I'm going to show you those decks. I'm going to do an unboxing of one of them and a walkthrough of the other because the second one is second hand, but I'm pretty happy. So as most of you will know, as long as this is not the first video that you're watching of mine, I have been in Australia for the past 6 weeks. Well, it was like we got back like a week ago, or not even a week ago, 5 days ago, but we spent 6 weeks, my son and I spent 6 weeks in Australia. It was amazing. Both of my sisters got married. I had my older sister got married in Melbourne and in mid-October, and then my younger sister got married in Dunsborough, which is, if you Google map that shit, it is southwest of Perth, on the opposite side of the country, later on in the same month. So it was a very full trip. It was a trip full of seeing lots of people, especially my friends in Australia who I haven't seen in nearly 5 years, some of which who have had 2 children in the time I've been away. So lots of reunions in Perth. It was so wonderful, and it filled my cup up with love from people that I don't get to see very often. The weddings were beautiful, but traveling that long, it does take its toll. I'm very glad to be home. I'm glad to be sleeping in my own bed. I was able to see some people in Melbourne for a witchy shop tour and a coffee catch up, which was really great. Didn't get time to do that in Perth. I was spending most of the time catching up with 2 or 3 people a day from, friends from school and things like that. So it was very, very busy. So we're finally home. I now have a cold. I am sipping lemon and ginger tea, which tends to be my go-to. It is pitch black outside at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I went from 30 degrees, sunshine, Celsius, plus Celsius, we're talking, not Fahrenheit, 30 degrees, on my friend's boat, cruising down the river, going to the beach, to freezing cold in Vancouver and dark at 5 o'clock at night. So yes, thankfully my son had no idea what we were coming back to. Otherwise I think he would have been a little more reluctant to come back home. But it was a really amazing trip, and thank you to everyone who I got to catch up with, especially quite a few people from YouTube. Hi, thank you for coming, and the coffee and the chat and having a look at the witchy shops in Melbourne. And of course, anytime I go to Australia, I'll let you all know so we can potentially hang. So some stuff that has been happening while I have been away. I signed this document the morning I flew out. So it's been very new, and I haven't done a lot since I've been gone. But I did announce it on Facebook a little while ago, but I'm very excited, like super pumped. It's a little bit surreal, to let you all know that my new tarot book is going to be published through Llewellyn Publishing next year. The contract is signed, sealed and delivered. I am 92% done with the book. I just have to write a few more additions and then go through and fastidiously edit it and then send it off. I have a very firm deadline in December that I need to keep, so I'm going to be very busy doing that. I'm super stoked. The book is about my tarot court archetypes, and if you did manage to come and see me at the Northwest Tarot Symposium this year, it was about that. If you didn't, you're going to get the book. Oh my gosh. And I'll obviously be talking a lot more in the book about the tarot archetypes as I see them, and how to know whether it is an aspect of yourself that the reading is talking about, or whether it is someone outside of you, in your environment, in your workplace, that kind of thing. And the layers of the archetypes that we have within ourselves and our complex personality. So I'm super excited. I'm kind of slightly crapping myself to make sure, which I think is good. I think you have to have a dose of fear when you're doing anything like that, so that you're like, this has got to be good. So I'm excited, but I'm also a little bit scared. So I think that's good. But I'll let everyone know when it's open for pre-order. I'm going to be doing some cool things like some interactive workshops, some downloadables, and some fun stuff for people who pre-order the book. So watch this space, and may the muses be ever in my favour to get it done and rock and rolling. So that was one of the biggest news that I've had since being away. I also have the second edition of my Money Magic Manifestation cards, which are finishing this Monday. Like, they're in production. They've been in production for a while. I've had my little money magic manifestation cards for, since 2014. So it was time to upgrade these little babies. So the cards are actually a little bit bigger, which is cool. I've gone for still smaller than a tarot size. I don't have any prototypes to show you. They're just shipping. They sent me big sheets, so I haven't cut any of those out. But the cards are a little bit bigger. They have a beautiful thick cardstock. They've got antique gold edging. So very in line with the abundance and the money magic. It comes in a magnetic box, so very aligned with everything, all the other decks that I have in my collection, and the fold out has been redone as well. So it's a nice little kit now that you can keep together. I'm really looking forward to receiving them very soon. Hopefully it will only take a few days for them to ship here, and I'll let everyone know, but I'm kind of jazzed about that because, like I said, it's about time to get those redone. So that's been very exciting. It's something that I've been working on in the background for weeks and weeks and weeks now. So those are two of the biggest sort of things that have been happening in a pipeline. And readings, my tarot readings will be open again on Monday. I'm going to send out a blast to let everyone know, but they were back in stock, so I'm ready to go. I've had a week off at that point, so I'm kind of itching to get back to slinging cards. That's pretty cool. So yeah, one of the, as you all know, really bad segue. One of the things I like doing a lot is going to the movies, and I'm a massive geek. So I went and saw Thor Ragnarok with one of my oldest friends from high school while I was in Australia, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so much fun. Now, if anyone here watching this video has read any of the Poetic Eddas, has read anything on Norse mythology, has watched Vikings, which I also love, you will know that, or has seen American Gods, or read American Gods, or read Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology book. Norse mythology is not, it's serious. Most mythology is quite serious, in, I guess, as mythology is, as a text of, philosophical things. These things tend to get very serious. And they tried to do that with the first two Thor movies, and it kind of sucked. I mean, he's very pretty to look at, but they were kind of just, and Loki was great. He was a great protagonist in the Avengers movies, and a good bad guy, but it just kind of was like, they weren't great. And Thor: The Dark World was but this, it's like someone just said, we need to get someone who is just going to go balls to the wall with this, and they couldn't have picked a better director. He's so funny. I mentioned this before. Oh my gosh, my nose is so itchy. I mentioned this before in a chat, maybe. You know how much I hate editing, so you're just going to get me scratching my nose. But if you have not watched What We Do in the Shadows, you have got to go and watch that movie. My sister actually said go watch it. And it's not for kids. It's quite gory. But it's about 3 vampires that live as housemates in New Zealand. And it's done by Taika, the director of Thor Ragnarok, and who was also responsible for Flight of the Conchords, and is freaking hilarious. And he was so good in Thor Ragnarok. He played Korg, and he was just some of the funniest, all improvised. His stuff was all improvised, and some of the funniest lines in the whole movie. It was just fun. They just finally kind of injected a lot of that fun. If anyone else here is interested or knows about the Hulk world comic thread, the comic book arc, that's what Planet Hulk, sorry, that's what they've taken a lot of that in there with the arena work and the Grandmaster with Jeff Goldblum. Then we had Valkyrie, which I really liked her, but after Wonder Woman I was kind of like, meh, okay, you were great. You know, I loved her entrance. Her entrance was fantastic, very different to Wonder Woman, and again a lot sillier and a lot more fun. But I was like, I'll take my Amazonians any day over my Valkyries, as from what I've seen so far anyway. But she was great. It just looked like everyone was having a shit ton of fun. I loved seeing Cate Blanchett as Hela, who is the Norse goddess of death. She's very, that's again a very serious, thing to talk about, especially in a Marvel movie. I like what they did with Odin, and his sacrifice in a way, and his transition. I'm not going to give too much away. But she looked phenomenal. Swear the woman doesn't age. I don't know what she's doing, but she's looking fantastic. And she looked like she had a lot of fun, and for a very campy, could have been a very campy sort of performance with the headpiece and everything, and some of her lines, like, I bring you back to life, it could have been very, very kind of cheesy, but she brings such a depth to it because she's such an amazing actress. And it was so great to see a female villain finally after 17 bazillion movies in Marvel, and I have a feeling she's going to be back, potential spoiler alert, in the Infinity Wars, because there's a very deep connection with her and Thanos in the Infinity Wars comics, in the comics books with those two. So I had a lot of fun. It's so great. I just like anything that brings a chance for mythology that pagans tend to know about, because the Norse pantheon is a very well-known, very popular one, especially in the last 10 years, with Vikings especially coming about. And it's so great to see them get some screen time, albeit, fun screen time. It's still awesome and well done, because I've seen a lot of movies like The Immortals, which I absolutely loathed. I went and saw that with my housemate at the time and good friend, and we just had to laugh all the way through the movie because it was god-awful. It was terrible. And anytime there are mythological beings on the screen, I'm like, I want to go see it. And I was just like, this is terrible. So at least Wonder Woman did that justice in a way. I mean, Ares was a little bit campy, but he was all right. But she was obviously the scene stealer, and we didn't get to see a lot of the other Olympian gods. But it was very cool to see Odin, Hela, Loki, Thor, Heimdall. There was some really cool aspects of Norse mythology. So if you're looking for fun, like, it's not a serious movie. If you want to chuckle, you want a bit of a laugh, I highly recommend it, especially if you like something that is pagan-esque themed. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of it, if anyone else has seen it. Anyway, I thought it was pretty great. And finally, my 2 rare deck finds. Have you been waiting for like, when are you going to talk about the decks, woman? I'm talking about them now. So the first one I found in a shop called Sacred Source in Melbourne. Well, it's in Victoria, near Melbourne. And I literally just went on Google when I was staying at my younger sister's house. And I went on Google, I was like, crystal shops near me. And then I went to a couple, And Sacred Source is really, I mean, both of the places I went were like, I could have spent all of the money, just like taking all of my money. But then I was like, how am I going to get like a suitcase with rocks home? That was an issue. I had to go buy another suitcase. I brought home 4 suitcases full of stuff. So not crystals, just I had my bridesmaid's dress and Dominic's suit and my shoes that I bought for the wedding, which I had to buy there and things like that. But any hoodle. So I did bring back a few crystals, but anyway, I digress. So I found this, which is the Oracle of the Goddess, Discover the Female Powers of the Divine. It's by Gay and Silverwinter and Joe Dossey. This is it's rare. You can get it from the AGM Mueller website, but I have not seen this in any store. The only copies that I've seen have been like on Amazon that have gone for like $250 plus. So I, as you can imagine, snapped it up. It's still in its wrapping. It won't be for long. I will be doing an unboxing of this. I also have the Slattis Tarot. I have the Mystical Manga Tarot. I have The Universe Has Your Back. I can't even read that one. I came back to a bit of a desk full of decks to unbox and things to review. So that may take a while to unbox this because I do have a massive backlog, but I am really excited to crack this open. Now, it's only a 33 card deck, so it's quite small. But it is one that the artwork is just stunning, and I have just been, because I love the Vision Quest Tarot and it's the same artist. So I'm very, very excited. And the second one I found this is a tarot deck, and I found it on eBay, and I won the auction before I left, and then I had to wait 6 excruciating weeks until I got back to see whether the deck was complete, because as many of you know who have bought things on like a tarot swap or eBay or things like that, you don't know whether the deck is complete even though they say it. You don't know if anything's been damaged. Like, it's always a bit of a, you just don't know. And the first thing I did when I got home and I opened this one, I made sure I packed everything away first before I got into my goodies, but I counted all the cards. I went through, made sure everything was in there, because I shit you not, I have been looking for this deck for over 10 years. It's the Mage the Awakening Tarot, and this was a tabletop game by World of Darkness. This is by Mage the Awakening. You can still get Mage the Awakening stuff. It's a player add-on, and you can get the book and everything by White Wolf, but I don't care about the book. I care about the deck. This deck, the artwork is done by Stephanie Law, by Shadowscape Stephanie Law. It is so rare. The cardstock isn't great. I've come across a few people in our tribe who've got this deck. The cardstock isn't, actually, it's a lot, I think this is linen stock, so it's going to last, it looks like it's linen. It's got like linen marks. It looks like it's going to last a long time, and I will do a full flip through. But Stephanie's artwork, because my camera is pretty bad because it's so dark outside, Stephanie's artwork is pretty, really well known in our industry. And I have just been lusting after this deck for so long. So I was shitting myself with excitement. I don't have many decks now on my rare wish list, like I've got the Pagan 2000 Tarot, and I got the book thanks to Katie Flowers. I have the Victoria Regina Tarot, the full kit, thanks to a beautiful member of our tribe gifting that to me. So there's not many decks on my rare wish list. This was like, I think, the final one. So I was really stinking pleased. As I said, I'll go do a flip through. And the other thing that I was really happy with is I paid less than $100 for it, because some of the ones that I have been seeing were going for a small fortune. And here you'll see in the Queen of Cups how very Stephanie Law this is. And so really, really, really happy with that. You can all be jealous now, because I would be jealous of me if I got this. I would. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'd be super jealous of myself. So yeah, so that was pretty exciting to get that. I'm very, very happy, and it's a complete. The box is a bit banged up, but the cards are in amazing condition. So I guess to wrap up my little ramble, some highlights of my trip were obviously my sister's getting married. They're both so happy and so in love, and it's amazing, and I'm just so happy for both of them, and it was just awesome to be there. I love me a good wedding. Nothing better than a fun and cake. I got to meet some of my friends' children for the first time. I got to swim in the Indian Ocean, so a big part of my life was growing up swimming, and my patron god is Poseidon. And I've worked a lot with various deities, ocean deities, and I miss the ocean just a ton, like that. And the ocean, because every ocean body for me feels like it has a different energy, and so the Pacific Ocean feels very different to the Indian Ocean. And I got to have a couple of days of just beautiful, like, swimming in there, and I just felt like rebirth. It was amazing. I got to see dolphins. We saw a humpback whale, a little baby and a mama off the coast, like just dancing in the water, like twice actually. Stunning stuff like that. Got to see a lot of wildlife in Australia, waking up to the kookaburras and the rosettas and the birds that are there. It's a very different. Here it's crows. In Western Australia, it is just a magnitude, cockatoos, galahs. It's just like this beautiful things to wake up to. I got to see some of my soul sisters from my old coven again, and man, it was just so happy to see them, and I can't wait to see them again. It was just so good. I'm like, like people that you just can't just get you without really you having to say anything. And thank you so much to Neil and Lee and Sarah and Ferry for just the love. You guys just give me so much love, and for making me curry and for making me tea and letting me use your house, and just, you guys are the shit. You really are. That was a definite highlight. And then I also got to spend a night out kid-free, which is a bit of a miraculous thing, with two girlfriends from high school, one of my closest friends, and that was just amazing. So it was a great trip. It was extremely tiring. I'm slowly getting over my jet lag. I still kind of have it, waking up at weird ass hours and not being able to sleep. Been very productive, however. So I just want to say hello. Hi, I'm back. And you'll be seeing more of me on the tubes. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And we're gearing up to silly season. So, I hope you all are ready and getting into peace. And I'll see you all for the new moon in Scorpio later this week.